Okay, Shane Stevenson, Director of Museum Collections and Curator here at the Buffalo Naval Park, along with the other ubiquitous man, Alan Jordan. And what we are going to be doing today is we spent a lot of the week just pumping out all of about the 14,000 gallons of water. We did some patching in 3 different areas, but today we got the dirty stuff. I got to get down in one of the fuel tanks. Alright, so it's going to be a little dirty. I got to get a Tyvek suit on. And so just to dispel a little information, the fuel oil tanks were filled with fuel and an oil mixture while in service. When the ships get decommissioned, they remove all of the oil, they remove all of the fuel, but there is always some residuals. So picture a tank with oil floating around in it, and they pump out all the liquid and standing oil and the fuel, but there'll always be some on the decking, on the bulkheads, and the overhead. Right, so they're not in there scrubbing with mops and squeegees or anything like that, getting it off. So there is residual fuel oil in a couple of our tanks, but when they fill up, we always test the water to make sure that we're only pumping out fresh water that would be underneath the oil layer, if there is one. So that kind of dispels any myths. You'll see that in this video. You'll see it's pitch black down there because of all the fuel and the oil. So again, while the Navy pumps out all of the standing oil, there's always some residuals because it was a fuel oil tank for 23 years of her existence. So there'll always be some residual in the compartment itself. Alright, so I got to get the Tyvek suit on, and we'll get down there. Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, and we are getting ready to go down into the fuel oil tank that is in E Division here on USS The Sullivans. So why don't we bounce along and follow me. Okay. Just got to get just last minute suited up here. And then we're going to climb down that hatch. Double up. Now I hope, as Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, that I haven't eaten too many hot dogs lately, so I can fit down that hatch. If you've watched our patching the hole on the Sullivans, you'll see me climbing down here with our maintenance, with the caretaker of the Little Rock, Ben, saying that I'm just barely small enough to fit down this hole. So if you've watched that video, you'll know what hatch I'm about ready to go through. Alright, getting ready to head down. As you can see, Alan Jordan is going to be passing me the overhead light, and so I can get a little light down here. And again, what we're doing today is we're going to try and see if we can find where this leak is actually coming from. Been down here before. It's usually port side, which is right behind where the camera is, and again against the hull. We're not seeing usually anything underneath on the decking itself or near the keel. It's always coming from the side of the hull on port side. So that's exactly where I'm going to start heading, right over there. Alan will be he'll be leaning down with the camera, and we'll have the light down there so you get a really good taste of what we are up against. Alright, now let's see if we can go. Light, please. Thank you very much. Alright, so welcome. Again, this is one of the fuel tanks in the on the port side in E Division. If you can see, here's the hull right here. We have all the mechanisms, and right to my right is the port I'm going to take a look to see if I can locate where a hole actually is. Alright, so we'll be with you in a little bit. I'm going to do a little searching around, and I'll give you an updated report in a few minutes. Alright everybody, so this is the inside of one of our fuel oil tanks. There's the shaft, the port side propeller shaft. You'll see some more baffles. There's the forward bulkhead and the hull. Now I have looked around as best I could, and I have not actually seen a leak. There's always some residual moisture to go along with the residual fuel. Like there's a little dripping there, but that wouldn't cause this compartment to actually fill up the way she has. So this is what we're looking at. I have not been able to diagnose where we are with why we're filling up, but we do have a pump going, and we're verifying that the water is still clear and fresh. And all right, so that gives you a little insight into, again, another spot that no one really ever comes, certainly no visitors on the tour, but staff. To keep this 78-year-old girl floating, we gotta come in here. It's another day in Sullivan's Paradise here, everybody, because we have found another leak that's fairly recent. We are in the aft fire room on starboard now. Most of our work has been on port. We are now on starboard, and we do have a nice running leak coming in. Nice stream, 4 or 5 feet. So we are going to go down and plug this as well. So one of the issues is that there has been a hole drilled at the bottom of this freshwater tank, and so now the water is just running out to the center line and into the bilge spaces of this aft fire room. And this is the fire room that's on the tour as well, so we got to get it all dry before we open for the season. So again, starboard, forward, freshwater tank. Gotta head down there. I'm actually gonna bring the camera down, and you'll see the leak, and we're gonna do our best to patch it up today. All right, so we are getting ready to head down this hatch right here. We did have to do a little work. There was a little tight squeeze with the pipe here, and so we are ready to climb down. I'm gonna climb down, and we're gonna bring the camera. I don't know if there's not much water in this first containment area, but through the baffles, we can see it might be in the second containment area, so we gotta head down there. Again, seal this patch. We're gonna use some JB Weld and
a backing plate, and then shore it.
Thank you.
Shoring. He calls it cribbing. We call it shoring in the Navy.
Okay, all right. So we're going to shore it up, put the patch on, and we're going to shore it up with a 2x4. And hopefully that will stop. Then we got to get down below and see where it's leaking in, and then begin pumping that out in the center line of the aft fire room.
What you're looking at now, that little dot of light, is actually where the water's coming in. Now Shane, being much younger and skinnier than me, has to squeeze through that hole right there. So that should be entertaining unto itself.
That's filming. I'm ready to roll. Alright, so with the help of John Branning, our superintendent of ships, we made it through the first baffle, and here's that hole. So what we're seeing is one of these rusticles has given way, and we got the nice water, nice cold. We got the cold water coming through, but we also have to begin monitoring these rustules as well. So you've got 3 right here and a 4th. So we're going to go up and get a little more product, and we're going to try and seal all of these in one fell swoop. Right, because eventually these are going to give way, and if I was to rub it, whoop, it'd come right through. So we don't want to rub it, we don't want to touch them, but we're doing a little preventative work right now. And, all right, we'll see you in a bit. So come to the second baffle. We do have a rusticle right here. And so I'm just going to do a quick patch. It's not leaking, but it will. But it will. That's right, as Senior Chief John Brannick says, it will. And so we're doing a little preventative work right now. Then we're going to come back and cover what we've just done. Okay, so Senior Chief John Brannick and I, this is the starboard freshwater tank in the aft fire room. And we noticed we had one leak and two rusticles that, given another week or so, as John was just mentioning with the ice flow, that they could have started to leak. So we did a little preventative work. And what you'll see here, we've got the trifecta, okay? This shoring is the active leak that you see earlier in the video, as we took a video of that. These three are preventative. So we have an L-shaped patch, and that is covering, this shoring is covering two rusticles, and then we've got one over here, and I just did one right here. The fourth shoring patch that we put on again, that again was not an active leak, but it won't take much. Very true. So this is, again, now we're doing this work in the off season. So you're going to see that it's a little sweaty in here as well. So what we have is, it's cold on the outside. It's cold. This is, we're under the water line. And, you know, it's warming up in here because we have two bodies in here for the past hour. So it's beginning to sweat a little bit, and all of this contributes to rusticles and then soon to be holes. Chief there is quite helpful. It's great to have him back. He was off for a little bit, and it's great to have him back helping to patch up USS The Sullivans. So we're gonna, thanks for coming along, and we're gonna do a little bit more patching and pumping and checking it out, and thanks for watching this video.